Hi everyone, welcome back. We're reading Mr Gum and the Goblins by Andy Stanton, and we're on chapter 11, Heroes in the Snow. Polly and Friday lay at the bottom of the well in the darkest darkness they had ever not seen. The goblins were on their smelly way to Lamonic Bibber, and there was nothing they could do about it. "I can't believe I missed the song," Friday said miserably. "I bet it was magnificent." "I bet you it wasn't," said Polly. "Knowing Mr Gum, it was probably full of mistakes and burping and what have you. Now, let's see what's going on round here and maybe we can escape." Together they scrabbled about in the darkness, and soon their hands found something smooth and cold. It was the side of the old well. "Maybe we can move these bricks," said Polly eagerly, and they set to work pulling and pushing at the stonework. But no, those bricks weren't going anywhere. They'd been there for hundreds of years, and they fancied being there for hundreds of years more, and that was their final word on the matter. After a while, Polly collapsed back in the darkness. "I hates it," she fumed. "Mr Gum's just left us here to rot away like snowmen, and what's more—" Just then, one of the bricks shifted a little, then out it plopped onto the floor. "Magic bricks," said Friday, tapping his nose wisely. "I thought as much." But for once in his life, Friday was wrong. A little face peeked out of the hole where the brick had been. "Why, it's that rabbit!" gasped Polly. And yes, it really was. Because that rabbit hadn't forgotten Polly's kindness, and somehow it had known she was in trouble. So through the mountain it had burrowed, and those stupid bricks were no match for its powerful digging legs. "Now follow me," the rabbit's bright green eyes seemed to say, and the travellers crawled through the burrow after the long-eared superhero. The passageway twisted and turned until Polly lost all track of time and Friday lost one of his shoes, but eventually they saw moonlight shining up ahead. Sweet, sweet moonlight, and out they climbed into the cold, starry night. "Thank you, little one," said Polly, bending down to shake the rabbit's paw. "My work here is done," the rabbit's bright green eyes seemed to say. "Now it is up to you, travellers. Only you can save the day with your bravery and courage. The way is hard, but I have faith in you because I am a rabbit." "Wow," said Friday as the creature bounded off into the darkness. "I've never met a rabbit with such talkative eyes." "Never mind that," said Polly. "We're still ages away from Lamonic Bibber, and them goblins is easy going to beat us back there before we can warn the townsfolk." It looked totally hopeless, but just then— "Hark," said Friday. "What sound is this, coming our way this blustery night? Why, it almost sounds like— yes, it is, barking." "Could it be?" said Polly, hardly daring to believe it was true. "Could it be?" she repeated, jumping on Friday's shoulders to get a better look. "Yes!" she cried excitedly. "Go! #1 hit record on the charts, gold medal, extra life, brand new pencil case." You see, these were all the best things Polly could think of, because rattling through the fields on his huge friendly paws was her old friend Jake the dog, and a fine, fine dog was he. There were sleigh bells all over his tail, and an enormous Christmas tree stuck to his back, and right at the top, like the star he was, sat little Alan Taylor, scouring the fields with his juicy raisin eyes. "There they are!" the biscuity fellow beamed when he saw the travellers, and as Jake came belting towards them, Polly laughed to see who was steering him, for it was a little boy no older than she. "Spirits of the rainbow!" she laughed in pure joy. "Is it really you?" "Of course," replied the lad, as Jake pulled up and began licking Polly's eyebrows. "I promised to come to your aid when the horn of Quasal was blown, and here I am." "Thank you, sir," said Friday graciously, "but there is one thing I have to ask. Couldn't you have come a bit sooner?" "Old man," explained the boy, "when you blew that horn, I was in Newcastle staying over at my cousin's. I had to catch the train, and it was delayed for ages. And then the taxi from the station broke down, so I had to walk the last 2 miles on foot, and then I had to—" "What?" he asked, noticing Friday's surprise. "You didn't think I would just magically appear when you blew the horn, did you?" "Oh, ho!" laughed the boy as the travellers climbed aboard Jake's festive back. "The very idea! How you humans do amuse me!" And then they were all laughing together, for the idea of someone just magically appearing was simply ridiculous. But now there was no time to lose. "Mush!" cried the Spirit of the Rainbow, which is something you say to dogs to get them to run really fast through snow, no one knows why. And woof! Pazang! Jake took off like a hairy bullet called Jake, and there they were, racing back to Lamonic Bibber in the moonlight. "Alan Taylor," said Friday as they rode, "how is my darling wife, Mrs. Lovely?" "Fine, thanks," chuckled Mrs. Lovely, popping her head out from inside the Christmas tree where she'd been hiding for a surprise. "I'm completely better, tra-la-la-la-la." "The truth is a lemon meringue," shouted Friday happily. Mrs. Lovely jumped into his arms, and everyone pretended not to look while they'd done a bit of kissing and that. The rest of that night passed in a hazy, crazy daze, with Jake woofing and yuffling endlessly through the white, powdery snow. It was all down to that big bark machine now, and he ran like no dog has ever run before or since. Actually, one dog has run like that before. His name was Mop Mop, and it happened in Denmark in 1974. Mop Mop was chasing a florist through the streets of Copenhagen. "Who cares about Mop Mop?" cried Polly. "Come on, Jakey, run!" And so over the frozen fields big Jake ran, hardly even slipping on the icy bits. Through snowdrifts great and small, bounding over walls, he leapt a country style and ran for miles and miles. While night turned to day, he ran a long, long way. In the jingle-jangle morning, he went slobbing along. "But is he a-slobbing along fast enough? That's what I does want to know," thought Polly anxiously. "Have faith, child," the Spirit of the Rainbow reassured her, as if he could read her brains. "And if you can't have faith, have a fruit chew." "Hey, that reminds me," said Polly, fishing out the fruit chew of Babylon from her skirt pocket. "I still got this great gift what you gave me." "Patience, child," said the Spirit of the Rainbow. "The fruit chew of Babylon is powerful, but it must be used at just the right moment. For as it is written in the stars in special space ink, the fruit chew of Babylon will sort out the truth of it all." "Whatever can that mean?" wondered Polly. But the Spirit of the Rainbow would say no more, and on they rode in silence, racing desperately against time. Overhead, morning was breaking as Jake rounded one last corner, and a familiar sight met Polly's eyes. "Boaster's Hill!" she exclaimed happily. "We're back home where we belongs." But her happiness didn't last long, because something strange was happening at the bottom of the hill. As the heroes watched, a huge load of soil went flying everywhere, and then, in the blink of a tramp's eye, the goblins burst out from the hillside, splitting and dropping litter all over the place, and designing cheap blocks of flats made of concrete. They had only been in Lamonic Bibber for about 3 seconds, but already it was starting to look like Goblin City. And that's the end of chapter 11. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.